Hi, my name is Mackenzie Bernard, and I will be presenting on Charles Mace, or F. Charles Bud Mace, that handsome guy in the corner. Um, so, who is F. Charles Mace? He was a contributor to the field of behavioral analysis for over 30 years. Unfortunately, he's retired now after everything that he's really given to the field. He gained his PhD in school psychology from the University of Arizona in 1983. He held positions at prestigious universities, including University of Pennsylvania School of Medicine, and he was editor-in-chief of the Journal of Applied Behavioral Analysis, as well as editor of translational research for the Journal of Experimental Analysis of Behavior. He's published over 100 articles and actually was the most highly cited researcher within the field. He has an expertise in research for functional analysis, behavioral momentum, and the matching law, and he focused on the population of lab animals and individuals with developmental disabilities. His awards include D.F. Hake Award for Distinguished Contributions to Basic and Applied Research from APA, and the Unicorn Children's Foundation Endowed Chair at Nova Southeastern University. So the literature and articles that I found will be focusing on functional analysis and behavioral momentum. Like I mentioned before, those are his areas of expertise. So you might be asking, what is functional analysis? This allows the clinicians to analyze and answer questions such as, what does this thing do? Why are these events happening? And really see what's the function, what's reinforcing these behaviors. The first article that I found was in 1986, and it was a study that used functional analysis to determine what was maintaining aggressive behavior in individuals across varying contingencies. They found that each condition or contingency produced varying levels of aggressive behavior for each child. So this shows that each environment or condition can create varying levels of behaviors depending on how that environment is reinforcing the child, and it can vary depending on each individual. Also, in 2011, Mace and his colleagues had a study that evaluated 3 methods of denying access of a highly preferred reinforcer. So they did this by presenting a verbal SD of saying no across different environments. What they found was really interesting, that the no actually wasn't an SD signaling for reinforcement, but it served as an S delta signaling for extinction and removal of that reinforcement. So therefore, behaviors that often come along with extinction, such as increased aggression, occurred, and that's why they were seeing aggressive behaviors when they presented the SD or verbal saying no. So other articles that I found focused on behavioral momentum, which is used to treat non-compliance and refers to the presentation of easy tasks prior to the presentation of one harder task. I found a video that I thought would be a good explanation and to show us how behavioral
we'll go over the
momentum might be used in the field of ABA, which a lot of us will be working in.
Do this. Good. Do this. Good job. Do this. Awesome. What is it?
Doggy.
Awesome. Look, we can play with the house.
So as you can see there, the clinician and teacher presented the learner with a couple of easy, high probability tasks before presenting with the target behavior or the low probability task. And once the low probability task was done correctly, they highly reinforced with a high value reinforcer. And then, okay, so in 1988, a study on behavioral momentum discussed the importance of higher rate of reinforcement to evoke higher rates of responding and behavioral momentum in order to decrease noncompliance. They found that by increased continuity of demands before harder demands decrease the latency and duration of problem behaviors. Therefore, if you are given frequent demands, one right after the other, with reinforcement, you're less likely to see a lag in response, and it's less likely to have longer problem behaviors that occur. Also in 2010, they studied the use of behavioral momentum and differential reinforcement of alternative behaviors in pigeons. So this study found that resistance to extinction occurred when followed by a DRA. So they wanted to get rid of this resistance to extinction, and they found that it's also best to train DRAs in a separate environment than where the problem behavior usually occurs. So lower resistance to extinction and changes in the target behavior can happen. Therefore, they're saying that, for example, in ABA, if you train the alternative behavior in another environment, say the child is acting up and showing behaviors out in recess, if you train it within the classroom when they're by themselves, that way you will lower their resistance to the extinction of the problem behaviors, and you're more likely to change their target behavior and have them master their target behavior. Mace, Morrow, and Boyajian and Eckert in 1997 studied the effects of reinforced equality on behavioral momentum in mice and adolescent boys. They showed that the presence of high preference reinforcers can greatly impact the effectiveness of behavioral momentum in both humans and animals. Therefore, in addition to using behavioral momentum, it's important to have a highly preferred reinforcer with a lot of value. So some similarities that I saw across the studies include aggressive behavior. He used experimental analysis of behavior mainly. Functional analysis, he focused on functional analysis as well as behavioral momentum. Some differences that were interesting, I saw some ABA formatted research for teachers and clinician training, and I also saw behavioral momentum research on how to coach college basketball. I unfortunately could not reach him for his interview. I think this is because he's retired, so I was unable to find a way to contact him. Some contributions that I saw that he had for the field. He really influenced how physicians approached severe behaviors and emphasized the importance of magnitude of reinforcer use. This is something we are really thoroughly taught in our studies to become ABA technicians, to become RBTs or BCBAs. The value of the reinforcer is the end-all be-all, and Charles F. Mace really hit home with this through functional analysis. He provided research on aggressive and self-injurious behaviors that are harder to extinguish and target. I think this is really an important area to study because I think that a lot of ABA comes with experiencing these types of behaviors, and I know it's really hard to treat or intervene with. So the fact that Charles produced so much research on how to intervene with aggression or self-injurious behaviors, I think lent a lot to the field. He also enhanced the ability to gain compliance from the learners. As you can see, behavioral momentum is such a great way to use or to evoke compliance from your learners, and it's such a useful intervention to use in sessions and as well as in research. So personal impact, I think I kind of touched on already how much I loved learning about behavioral momentum. I started using it in my own sessions, and I really saw an increase in increase in compliance, decrease in non-compliance, and also mastering of target behaviors. And he really showed the importance of using functional analysis throughout all interventions, and this is something that I look forward to learning more about in my training and to using because it's really important to find the true function behind all behaviors for our clients. So these are my references that I used for both my paper and my presentation. Thank you and have a good day.